Everyone, it is me, Nathan Greenaway, reporting from Cloud 9 and invited over for the evening, not strictly allowed to be here. It's, of course, Darragh. Darragh, I hope...
You've been working on that one. How long have you had that one prepared for?
Since about 1995.
Oh, clever. I'll see what you did there.
How are you, Darragh?
I was pretty good until about last night.
Yeah,
I'd had a pretty good week.
Should say this is plus added time here on Project Dits, in case your podcast has just kind of skipped ahead a couple. Hello.
You got to the main event. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. Another week of Premier League football and really football around the world has happened, and it all went a little bit manic. It's all gone a bit insane unless you're Manchester City, then you're just plodding along nicely.
Yeah, just casually keeping clean sheets, winning games. That's what football's all about.
That is for Brighton.
Yeah. Cheers.
How are you, Darragh? Let's dive straight into it. Let's talk about it. We are recording the night after Liverpool's unexpected defeat to Brighton at Anfield.
Do we have to talk about it? Is this a football show?
As per usual, these podcasts are usually about an hour long, so we usually do about 5 minutes of up-to-date football chat. And then we'll talk
even
about...
up to date as a stretch.
Then we'll talk about 2009 for a bit.
Love me those lineups. Yeah, it's very weird. Obviously, we'd gone so long unbeaten at home, 68 in total, and then to lose back to back against Burnley and Brighton, it's just very strange. Obviously, Brighton are a very good team, and I thought they played very well. Much better than we did probably on the night. But still, Nathan, it just feels so weird.
It was a weird match to watch because it's not like, it's an unexpected result.
True.
If you watched the match, you were kind of watching Brighton have a real go throughout. They ended up actually having more shots than you guys did, more shots on target out of those. And it was very, I don't know, it didn't really look like there was going to be much of kind of a clean chance in it for either side. You kind of messaged and said it was a 0-0, but then the more you thought about it, the more you're like, Brighton just took the best chance that they created out of a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, I remember one of the things I said to you, which is never a good sign, is that Caoimhín Kelleher and Nathaniel Phillips were pretty good. When your defence is playing pretty good and you're still losing games, not a good sign.
Yeah, and I mean, since we would be remiss if we didn't mention, obviously, deadline day, which was completely uneventful for
some of you,
most
not for
clubs,
us.
kind of in terms of incomings, in terms of Man United, we'll get onto the outgoings when we talk about them. But for you guys, you have brought kind of a potential back to be able to push Jordan Henderson back into midfield, and is it Ben Davies?
Ben Davies, yeah.
Not the left back.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to Ozan Kabak?
Ozan Kabak, yeah.
Oh, bang on the money.
Very good. Took me ages. I had to put down the pronunciation as Ozan because I kept getting it wrong.
Yeah, Mesut Ozil came in.
Yeah.
To play centre half.
Mesut Ozil's evil twin brother. I'm looking forward to Kabak in particular. He's been bigged up all week, even though the comparisons I've been told and heard is that he's a very similar player to Dejan Lovren, which I imagine many Liverpool fans are reaching for the phones, about to dial 999. But despite playing in what has been a very poor Schalke team, if you look at the table, they've won one game all season, and they're just shipping goals for fun.
Pretty much.
He's been apparently a long-term target, with the first inquiries happening around November time, and obviously Schalke are in a bit of trouble financially, and they need money basically, and now they're to get into the sort of Leeds United stage of shipping their best young players for money, which is kind of sad in a way. But I mean, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't excited, and based on our previous experience of buying from, poorly run clubs, Shaqiri, Andy Robertson and Gino Wijnaldum come to mind. So
yeah.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited.
It's hard to say because the only thing you can really do for people that don't watch that much of the Bundesliga is kind of do what you do, which is look at the table and go, well, he must be crap. But I did ask Rahul over at the Conventional 9 podcast, who is a Bayern Munich fan, so he watches a lot of Bundesliga, and he said Kabak's pretty good. Are you sure? Yeah, we're not.
Is he definitely?
He claims to be.
Rahul, of course, for anyone who forgot, bet against Bayern Munich winning the Bundesliga this year.
Despite being a Bayern Munich fan, but they're now 10 points clear, so that's going well. I think 10 or 7 or 10, I can't remember now. But no, he did say that Kabak is a good player and has kind of been talked up throughout the Bundesliga. So hopefully he'll be good for you guys. But bringing it back to Brighton, who did play very well, we don't just want to sound like we're saying they only won because Liverpool were rubbish. But Liverpool were
rubbish.
They were, and Klopp did say they were emotionally and physically tired, which is not a good sign when you're only 22 games into the season.
And considering we had a pre-season, it's not looking good. I think what it comes down to really is just that we're not good enough in our current state, I don't think. I know our players are practically all Premier League winners, but I think based on the current team we have available, I don't think we're good enough to win the league.
Depth has been a bit of an issue. It looks an issue throughout the squad. As much you just say Shaqiri is kind of a good buy, and he has been a good buy for Liverpool. He's also shouldn't really be starting consistently. It doesn't look like, because he doesn't offer a lot. It's kind of when we were talking about the Man United Liverpool game, the rubbish one, not the good one. He kind of just runs around a lot.
He tries hard, God bless him.
Yeah, but he's no Dirk Kuyt, is he?
No. No, he isn't. He is not. I'd love a Dirk out in this team.
Oh man, if you could put him into a time machine. If you get James Milner and Kuyt in the same side, that is a 150% effort at all times. Yeah,
probably the two oldest players to ever play football. I wouldn't be surprised. Wasn't he still starting for Feyenoord at 36, 37?
Yeah, he did. He only retired a couple seasons ago, I think.
Yeah.
And so did Robin van Persie, so God, this must be a Dutch thing.
Yeah. Sure.
But I mean, you got City this weekend, who easily pushed aside Burnley. I think that's fair to say. Burnley didn't offer much.
No.
Are you, given that Ben Davies didn't get any minutes, Kabak wasn't even in the squad, are you perhaps a little bit nervous about this?
Sort of. I'd love to see Jordan Henderson back in midfield, because I think if you actually looked at the halftime stats, he made one key pass, which I'm pretty sure I'm saying was more than any of the other midfielders, which isn't a good sign. And actually, when you look at the stats of the game, we had a shot on target. I couldn't even tell you what the shot on target was. Do you remember, Nathan? Because I have absolutely no idea.
We were DMing during the match, and I had just said, you've not even had a shot on target yet, and I think it was at half time.
No, it was later than that. It was definitely second half.
Later than that. And then you said, BT is saying we have. And I was like, I've watched the whole, I couldn't picture it. So if you know what that shot on target was, tweet at
We'd love to know. We'd love to hear from
Project DITS. Just let us know who took it.
Or just what even happened.
Yeah, obviously, did the goalie have to make a save? What was it?
I don't remember. The closest we came, like I said, was when the keeper came out to punch the ball and he just missed it. Or did he punch it back or something? That was the closest I think we went to a goal all night. But you said, yeah, City coming up at the weekend. And if you look at our run, on paper, it looks pretty bad for us. We've got City at Anfield, Leicester away, and then the Merseyside derby at Anfield. I feel if that was any other team in the league, you'd think, oh God. But I think as a Liverpool fan, I feel that's kind of what we need, because it seems to be the big games where we turn up and we don't lose. It's when it comes to the bottom, it's at the bottom 6, I think it is, that we just struggle. Have we won against any of the bottom 6 all season? I'll have to double check that.
Yeah, he drew with Fulham. Did you beat West Brom?
Joke. No.
Oh no, you
Sam
didn't.
Allardyce done a
Big
job.
Sam came in and got you a draw.
Drew
Sheffield
Newcastle.
United beat.
Just about.
Yeah.
We're lucky to get away
Sheffield
with that.
United's not for everyone.
It's a tough thing to do.
Yeah,
Southampton, I know they're not in the bottom half, but again, it's a tough place to go.
Yeah.
Team to play.
It's I mean, the last time we did a podcast, we were on about, you've got 2 trips to London coming up against Spurs and West Ham, and then you went and won them both.
Yeah.
So, who knows? And you had the same players out, other than, not Fabinho. Yeah, Fabinho's out, isn't he?
Yeah, Fabinho.
That's
And did Mane play against? He played against Tottenham. He didn't play against West Ham. Yeah.
Yeah, it's needless to say, Matip is out. We don't even need to mention that.
For the season. At least we have a bit of closure on that.
You know, ever since we did one of these podcasts a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about, Matip and Bailly, it's great that they're playing again. Neither of them have played since.
It's just
I think
nice
Bailly
to see.
was on the bench at least. But
I'm just happy to see Keita is still alive. He goes through phases where you don't hear from him. Do you know what I mean?
The first thing I Google every morning. How is Naby Keita?
Just checking the death notices in the local area.
Other deadline day outing, the interesting one that came very much at the last second and made me very nervous for the match that we've just played. Because Minamino, bless him, Klopp kind of turned around and went, who the fuck is that?
I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
He turned around and went, I think you're on the wrong bench, lad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favourite meme was I saw that someone wrote, it's good to see Minamino has finally realised the best way to get into the Liverpool team is to play for Southampton. He has gone out on loan for the rest of the season to Southampton is what we're getting at, if you didn't know.
I feel so bad for him because he just has not been given a chance since he joined. And when he has played this season, very rare, he seems to come on in midfield, which is just so obviously not where his best position is. His best position is part of the front three, which, if you need any evidence, just watch RB Salzburg versus us last season at Anfield when they came from 3-0 down to bring it back to 3-3. Him, Haaland and Chan just destroyed the backline that night.
Yeah, and it seems weird to me that given that you brought in 2 defenders, obviously, to help with the injury crisis, but the injury crisis isn't just in defence. Mane's just gone out, which means that Shaqiri and Origi are the 2 filling in.
There's no need to be upset. Picture of Divock Origi's face.
It just seems a bit weird that you've let an attacking player go when your options are so limited.
Yeah, that's a very good point. From what Klopp has said in his interviews, one of the main reasons, and I don't know why he bought him if this was the case, is that his height in general when it comes to defending set pieces, which we sort of struggled with this season. Origi is sort of just bigger, so he's more of a threat from set pieces.
That's a weird thing to say, you're right, about an attacker.
Especially one that you brought in. You know what I mean? And obviously with Van Dijk, Gomez, Matip out, all that attacking threat, we're now sort of relying on Fabinho, Henderson and Firmino, who isn't even that tall. I don't even think he's 6 foot. And that's about it for height in the team. It's a pretty small team really when you look at it. I think they're mainly under 6 foot, except for Matip.
It is, yeah. You're not gifted with height with all those players out. But
not gifted with talent either, apparently.
It's weird that he kept Shaqiri if his issue is height. So it's
I am convinced that Shaqiri is the smallest man ever. I've never seen him be taller than anyone.
Or wasn't it Ryan Fraser became the shortest player in Prem history to be sent off the other week, and he's 5'4".
I've never seen him and Shaqiri in the same room. That's all I'm saying.
So poor Klopp. Liverpool, you just need a little nap, apparently. He has ruled out you retaining the title.
Which I think is fair enough. I imagine a lot of fans have lost their heads over something like that. But, Klopp is the man I want leading Liverpool going forward. And I kind of respect in a way that he's being honest. better that than to come out and lie, I guess, if we take nothing else from this.
Yeah. I think it depends what happens this weekend, because if you win this weekend, then yeah, City will still have the 2 games in hand. But
Yeah.
I still think it kind of drags you back up there, because you're 4 or 5 points behind us at the minute. I should have the table in front of me, really, shouldn't I? But I don't.
It's 4.
Yeah, 4 points. So you win, you only go kind of 1 behind kind of the chasing pack, and then you just need City to kind of 1 blip, and you could steal it. Stranger things have happened.
You know, Jose Altidore has become a professional footballer. That's one of the weirdest things I've ever known.
So you're not too happy at the minute?
I won't say I'm not happy, although I think I remember texting you at one point during the match saying I really don't care about the outcome. I have absolutely no interest in this match.
One of the saddest things you did message me was after Brighton scored, and you just messaged me and just said, I didn't even react. I was like, oh, bless him. It's so sad.
It's such a fluky sort of goal, isn't it? It's come off Nat Phillips. It's come off, was it Trossard? And then, what was his name? Not Azata, something like that.
Oh, I can't remember how.
And by the way it went in, you could tell he had absolutely no idea where it was going. But you know, I think Brighton, looking back now, fully deserved it. Dan Burn at left wing back, when a 6'7" centre back is practically man of the match playing at left wing back, and was basically the assist before. Well, there was a lot of assists in their goal actually. But it's a ball to the back post. He's knocked it down, and it's in the danger area. And him, Webster, and you know, just the Brighton defence in general is just amazing. It gave us no space to operate. Salah, Shaqiri, Firmino had a very bad game in particular, but Salah and Shaqiri, I think, just didn't really get into it at all.
They didn't. I think Salah had one kind of half chance early doors, but other than that, yeah, you're right. Brighton, they shut it down, and it's one of those football cliches that we love here on the podcast, but you wouldn't have equalised if you had 5 hours, would you?
That's a good point. But I think we were chatting as well during the game that Graham Potter, I think, is just a really good coach. Obviously, Mourinho and Pep have come out and said it recently, haven't they? What do you think the ceiling for someone like a Graham Potter would be, and not Hogwarts?
I mean, there's so many variables to that. 'Cause you need the right club with the right backing and everything. But he has done so well at Brighton. He had a bit of a rocky start at the start of last season, but he's gotten playing really well, especially recently with limited resources. Yeah. And he sets the sides up so well. I can see him going up and like getting an opportunity at like a Spurs or maybe an Everton or someone like that, and then moving on from there if he does well there. And I think it really depends on just how things go and people giving him the opportunity with the backing that he kind of deserves. But
not to sound like a middle-aged Englishman here, but it'd be nice to see an English manager at a big team, because I think it's rarer than you'd think.
Oh, it is so rare. I mean, me and you were on about it, and we were like, well, Roy Hodgson at Everton, Big Sam. Roy Hodgson at Liverpool, Big Sam at Everton. But yeah, other than that, like
very few and fair.
Yeah, Sean Dyche at Burnley, who he's working miracles on basically no money.
I know he got Frank Lampard was at Chelsea, but I feel that was it was always going to happen because of the transfer ban. I don't think it was because of Frank Lampard's work at Derby, and I think everyone would admit that.
Certainly wasn't. Yeah. No. You'd have to be. He took them from the same place they were to the same place again with a lot of investment, and yeah, his ending at Chelsea. I know people would have just been screaming about us that Frank Lampard was just there, but was it a job he got on managerial merit?
Very, very dubious.
Yeah, the jury's out on that. But yeah, I think Graham Potter. I hope Eddie Howe gets back into football.
Yes.
Soon. Like, I don't know whether he'll have to drop down to the Championship to get an opportunity, but he was doing so well at Bournemouth, and I know it all fell apart towards the end. And and they've just sacked the guy who replaced him, Tyndall. They've just sacked him as well. So they're in a little, even though they're not doing too badly in the division, I think they're in 6th or something at the minute.
Yeah.
But they've not won in 8, so there you go. They probably would have expected more, and they've just let Josh King go to Everton.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Potter, Eddie Howe, I think Sean Dyche will eventually get a chance up the division as well, unless he wants to stay at Burnley. And obviously Big Sam is still rocking around. Pep called him a genius.
Go on.
That's it. Pep called before the West Bromwich Albion match. Pep said that Sam Allardyce is a genius. I don't know whether he meant a genius for still getting jobs.
That's good. I think his agent is more of a genius than Big Sam is.
Absolutely. Darragh, how was the rest of your week? You got anything you want to let us know?
Well, it's funny you talk about my week, because the segment we haven't done in a few weeks, Nathan, is Unique Peak at the Week. Will I run it past you quickly?
Yeah, please do.
I'm glad you said yes. If you had said no, I would have had absolutely no idea where to take this. First one I've gone for. Does the 6-second rule actually apply in football? I know it's sort of there, but it's not really enforced at all, is it? Because I always remember, if you watch Premier League years, which I'm a huge fan of, I think it's the 2001-2002 season, where Jussi Jääskeläinen gets pulled up for it, where he's had the ball for about 10 seconds at the absolute most, and he gets penalised for it, but I don't think I've ever seen anyone else ever get called on it.
Well, you do get, towards the end of the match, the goalkeeper tends to end up getting a yellow card.
Yeah, you get booked for time wasting.
But yeah, for the rest of the match,
I'll turn this on you. So it's a booking for time wasting. Have you ever seen someone get sent off for doing it?
Oh, that it doesn't spring to mind.
Yeah, that's exactly. No instances. If it's a bookable offence, how come no one has ever been sent off for doing it? It's a weird one. So that's the football part of the show finished. Third one, I'll just run past you very quickly. There is an answer to this. Nathan, how many thuds are there at the start of the EastEnders theme song before the tune kicks in?
Oh.
I was watching Gogglebox, and this was, I don't even remember what part of the show this was. There was some question got brought up, but there is a definitive answer. Do you know what it is?
Oh, I'm racking my head through. I'm gonna go with 9.
You've absolutely smashed it. He's got it in 1.
Jesus.
The answer is 9.
Oh my god, I was just counting on my fingers there.
Exactly. See, I thought 9 as well, but everyone on the show was going for like 12 or like 6, and I have no idea, because I thought it was a very simple question.
Dun 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 dun. Yeah, 9.
Yeah. It's well done. You've absolutely smashed it. That's your quiz for the week done.
Oh, cheers, mate.
And the final one, I'll spring on you. How come when you go to fast food drive-thrus, they're very stingy when handing out sauce? Is this a problem for you?
Are they stingy around your way?
Maybe it's just me. Look, if anyone is listening who works in a fast food drive-thru, if I want barbecue sauce with my, chicken, I'm expecting a lot, especially when I ask for extra. I'm not expecting 1. Or when you get a piece.
Me and the girlfriend went to McDonald's not long ago. Nothing else was open, so that was pretty much like a date night. And it was just a drive-through, obviously. No, we'd actually just done our like 2-weekly big food shop. You guys all know what I mean. Thought, you know what, we're going to go cheeky. We're going to go to the McDonald's drive-through. It's still open. Fuck, all else is open. And I asked for barbecue sauce, and they fucking gave me like 4 tubs of the stuff.
Well, what's going on here? Whereabouts are you living? Because I might have to start flying over just to get this barbecue sauce. When I'm getting like a 9-piece chicken nugget meal, I don't want 1 barbecue sauce. And it doesn't matter how many times you say, can I have extra with that? You're never going to get it.
Oh man, you're going to have to start getting a ferry across to Wales and coming to McDonald's over
here. Yeah. No, wait, I can't do that. But you know what I can do? I can go up north. Then I can go from, I don't know the name of the port now, but from Northern Ireland to Scotland. And then I could drive from Scotland down to down to Essex.
Oh, you smashed it, mate. You smashed it.
That's a possible. I found a loophole. Rules are there to be broken. Especially the law. Love breaking it. Well, that was this week's unique peek of the week.
Oh, I loved it. That was good. That's good. Everyone,
you
let
read
us
that off
know.
a script.
Yeah, that's the auto cue. Let us know how many tubs of sauce you get from your local fast food chain.
Interested. I'm actually so interested in this.
Well, here it's time. Let's talk United.
No, he's been waiting for this.
Been waiting for this. It's been obviously we went for a rocky patch where we drew with Liverpool, lost to Sheffield United, drew with Arsenal. Disaster time. Everyone said title challenge is over. Fucked it. We hadn't lost in 13, but we lost 1. So obviously we were the worst team in the world.
You lost to the worst team in the league. So that if that doesn't mean sack the manager, I don't know what does.
Yeah, they are shit. We're doomed. So game at home against Southampton going in. I was feeling confident. I did say to Darragh if Minamino, despite kind of logically, I think he's not going to be in the squad because there's a cut-off time, isn't there?
Yeah, he just signed, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, but I did say if he did score the winner that I was going to quit. So game starts, 2 minutes in. Alex Jankovic, I think is how you say his name, tries to kill Scott McSauce. More sauce talk. Rightly gets sent off. Obviously, the social media business after it is completely disgraceful.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It was a very bad tackle, though. Not condoning the Twitter, but it was a very bad tackle.
Yeah, moving past that. Again, we've said it before. If you're one of those people that does that, please stop listening to our show. We don't want you. But terrible debut, right up there with old Woodgate.
Yeah, and Messi. Didn't Messi get sent off in his Argentina debut? Only before obviously against was it Bilbao he got sent off. It was the only red card of his career.
Yeah, so bad times for him. Terrible debut. And then we go and score 9 goals.
It wasn't bad, was it?
It wasn't bad. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Rashford, Bednarek own goal, which made me nervous because every time he scores, the side lose. So suddenly I was like, shit, they're going to turn this around. Cavani, Martial with 2, Scott McSauce, Bruno with a penalty, of course, and then Dan James off the bench.
Was that your first penalty? And how many? Wasn't there a few games between your previous penalties? I don't know if you know the exact number off the top of your head.
I don't know the exact number, but
You went a while.
I would guess it's been about 10 games in the league since we've had a penalty. I don't think we'd had one this year.
That used to be one of my favourite segments. Just tearing into United
get a penalty.
For penalties, yeah.
Yeah, and we were absolutely ruthless. 24 shots, 14 on target, 75% possession, 626 passes compared to Southampton's 215. I know they ended up having 2 people sent off because Bednarek got sent off. That has been overruled because it was a ridiculous
very
red card. Even Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said it wasn't a red card. They did have a goal ruled out for VAR for the tightest of offsides off of course, a James Ward-Prowse set piece.
Who else? Do you reckon he'll play a big part in the Euros coming up? Well, if they ever do come up.
I love the fact, before I answer that question, instead of calling it Euro 2021, everyone just calls it rescheduled Euro 2020.
Bit of a mouthful.
Yeah, it's a bit of shit, isn't it? It just makes it sound like they couldn't be asked to do it last year. Yeah,
there was a similar thing. Again, this is a very random example, but there was some, obviously in the Gaelic, the All-Ireland final. For some, I don't remember the exact year, so this is pretty pointless, but one of the finals, so say it was 1912, took place in February 1913, and I tried to look into it, and obviously it's a while ago, so it's hard to find anything out, but there was absolutely no reason as to why. It was very strange. Anyways, back to the United.
Before we get back to the United game, that's it annoys me, and I know why they do it because it's for the year coming up. when they release FIFA, and it'll be like FIFA 2021, but it releases in like October of 2020.
Yeah. Obviously, it
So
always
relevant.
sounds modern. Yeah.
Just stop naming it after the years then.
Just call it FIFA every single year.
Okay. The only bad side from the game, from our perspective, is that Cavani did go off at half time. Apparently after a challenge from someone, his ankle was really hurting. So hopefully he's all right for the Everton game this weekend. But I mean, we got to rest some players. Paul Pogba didn't come on. I don't know if he was resting him or if he's just been shit lately. It's hard to tell.
Is he definitely leaving? Is that still, nothing else has come out on that?
Apparently the rumour mill was that after Mino Raiola's last comments of being like, Pogba's done at United, and Solskjaer had a word with him about, because Pogba was also doing loads of commercial things like outside of United.
Yeah.
Like all the time, which is another reason why Solskjaer wasn't playing him.
Okay.
Because he just wasn't focused. And then Pogba went on a tear and he stopped doing all of those things. Apparently Solskjaer has had a word with him and said, look, you can leave in the summer, but you're not going to get a big move the way you've been playing, basically.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
And I
Although
think
lately, yeah.
the only other thing I would say, and on the Paul Pogba thing, is that it's where is he going to go? Because Barcelona is skin, Real Madrid is skin, Juventus would need to sell first, supposedly.
Juventus don't sign you unless you have 6 months left on your contract,
Yeah,
and then they'll just wrap it up.
Yeah, so they don't have a ton of money. I know we're talking Paul Pogba last year of his contract. What's he going to cost? Probably 50 million, like with a year to go, because if he's definitely going to go and he doesn't want to be there, we're going to want some cash for him, but it's not going to be a lot. Just look at Thiago going to Liverpool. Like, if Alex
Oxlade-Chamberlain cost 40 million with a year left on his contract. Isn't that mad?
And you guys are dumb.
Yeah.
You look at that injury record and just went, ooh.
Oh, that is tempting.
Matip needs a friend. He's lonely over there. So I think he definitely is going to leave. But, I mean, we're talking Juventus, if we could get a swap deal with someone, or PSG. Those are really his only options, because Bayern don't pay huge wages or big transfer fees very often.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, back to the game. We won 9-0. Joint top of the table, but City have played about 17 less games. And but the most interesting stat, 'cause you love a stat.
Ooh.
We played really well. I don't really have a lot to say. Southampton, despite going down to 10 men, were absolutely dreadful. Like, you shouldn't be. And this is just exact same thing as what happened to us against Spurs early in the season. Just because you have someone sent off doesn't excuse how pish their defending was.
Yeah.
And
I think that's fair.
I think, and I can never say his name properly, the Southampton manager, Hassan Hutel, or something like that.
If you're on him one again, you're on a roll tonight.
Look at me. What Brexit? Like,
what?
He kind of just looked dejected afterwards.
They haven't won since they bet us, I don't think, either, have they?
No, and you know what's funny is that we lost to Arsenal obviously earlier in the season, and then we went on a massive winning run. And Arsenal then lost like 10 in a row.
Yeah.
And then we drew with Arsenal, and I don't think Arsenal have won a game since either. No.
The embarrassment.
Yeah, weird, because they lost to Wolves after also having 2 people sent off in the game just before the Man United game.
Yeah.
Don't know if that's ever happened before.
Yeah.
But back to my interesting stat. 7 different scorers for the second time in Premier League history, not including the own goal.
Can I stop you there? I think I might already know where this is going.
Oh. Do you?
So 7 different goal scorers.
In 2012, Chelsea beat Aston Villa 8-0 and also had 7 different scorers.
Rafa Benitez, prime.
Yeah, this is why I decided to ask you this, because
Rafa you're gonna make me
the manager. How many of the 7 can you name?
Oh, good lord. Oh, well, this could be anyone. So Torres,
Yep.
I know David Luiz scores a free kick.
Yep.
Okay, this is where it's literally just guesswork. Hazard.
Yep.
Oscar.
Yep.
Mata.
No.
Okay, well that was fun while it lasted. Who else would have been? Wait, it's 7. I don't know, Ramirez?
Yep.
Ivanovic.
Yep.
One of the centre backs. I don't think John Terry played much under Rafa. Gary Cahill.
No. I'm going to give you one more chance because you are missing the blindingly obvious.
Frank Lampard.
Frank Lampard. Yes, well
Cheers.
done.
I was thinking, I for some reason in my head, Lampard and Terry just played 0 minutes under Rafa Benitez.
Oh, no, Lampard started the game. Mata did get an assist. Oscar got 2 assists as well as the goal. Ramirez got 2 goals. And a rare appearance, I think it must be one of the only ones, because Lucas Pizon came on.
Oh, that's actually topical, because he left very recently, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what he left very recently. Then he said in an interview basically how demoralising it was being at Chelsea towards the end, because they would come back from their loans, join the pre-season, and they called themselves the loan crew. It was Pizon and all his mates who would go on a loan. Because apparently every season they'd be told, oh, if you play well, the manager might want you.
Oh, God.
And then they would get shipped out again.
Yeah. I think the only ones that have worked from that scheme are like Andreas Christensen and Courtois. Courtois, actually, that's an obvious one. But I think there's very few that actually make it at Chelsea.
It is Mason Mount and Tammy Abraham. And I guess to a point, Reece James as well are massive exceptions in a minute.
Do you know the funny thing?
Kurt Zuma as well, but he's pish.
Yeah. You talk about Lucas Pizon, obviously playing in that game in, 2012, I think it was. Do you know he's a year and a half younger than Jesse Lingard?
He's not had a great career. I think that was the thing that, at the minute, Harry Kane has scored more goals for Spurs than Pizon has played games in his entire career.
That sounds about right. I believe that.
Right. I know the guy's been a little bit unlucky with injuries as well, but hopefully he'll go on and do good things. But speaking of Jesse Lingard, where'd this guy come from?
From your reserves, I think. Didn't get a look in all season, yeah. And he scored in consecutive Premier League matches, surely. I think. He
has scored in consecutive Premier League matches, but those appearances were 192 days apart.
Yes. I do remember seeing that.
2 goals from Lingard on his debut for West Ham, playing on the left. What side West Ham are looking at the minute?
Just incredible, except David Moyes just can't play against Liverpool, is the thing we're learning from this. Because they looked... I didn't think they looked overly great in the Liverpool game, but again, I'm bringing it back to Liverpool. West Ham, they've been pretty good for most of the season, haven't they?
They have, look, with Souček and Rice, and then Antonio up front as well.
Souček scoring again.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
He has played ridiculously well. You know what, I was really hoping, because I was like, I wonder how Moyes got on against Liverpool when he was Man United manager, but I've just looked it up and we lost 3-0.
Yeah, he did actually win one game against Liverpool that I don't think anyone remembers. I don't think I've ever watched the highlights to it. It's in was it Capital One Cup, I think, in 13-14? He beat us in the 4th round, I think, and I've never watched the highlights back.
No idea.
For obvious reasons. It was at Old Trafford, yeah, no one ever remembers it. Same with the fact that he actually won a trophy at United. Whereas Brendan Rodgers did not. Liverpool. Yeah, against Wigan.
Wigan, yeah. We looked awful in that game. I watched that game very excited, and we looked lethargic as fuck.
Trophies are trophies. Well, Charity Shield isn't really a trophy, but
anyone that calls it a trophy needs to.
Jose Mourinho, respect.
Respect the treble.
Respect.
League Cup, Europa League, Charity Shield.
Oh, the dream. That is That's the start of the season. That's the goal for every club.
The very treble that you guys won that we ripped you apart for.
Whoa. The UEFA Cup, FA Cup, and Worthington Cup is a very coveted treble that has not been replicated since. And obviously back then, the winning the UEFA Cup didn't automatically qualify for Champions League. So the finals aren't the final game of that season. We actually have to go away to Charlton, and we went 4-0 to finish above Leeds. I know you were about to ask me, so I thought I'd drop that in.
Just ripped up all my notes.
Yeah.
But at time of recording, Jose Mourinho's Spurs are actually about to take on Chelsea in about half an hour. We have been very critical of Spurs on the last couple of podcasts, calling them boring, relentlessly. No Bale in the starting lineup. Carlos Vinicius is getting a shot up top. Obviously, famously scored against Marines.
Yeah. Yeah. Did the Mbappe celebration against a bunch of plumbers.
Builders.
Yeah.
But let's talk Chelsea briefly, because right at the end of the podcast last week we were kind of a little bit critical of the way their run. Tuchel has looked fairly okay in his start to life. He was playing Hudson-Odoi at wing back though, which I found weird.
Better than Dan Burn, I guess.
Apparently not.
Well, actually, no, yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about.
He has said in an interview that he kind of wants to try and get the best out of Timo Werner. So Timo Werner is starting up top with Hudson-Odoi and Mason Mount. But kind of what do you make of Tuchel's start to life at Chelsea?
I'll be honest, I watched the Wolves game very excited. I thought it was going to be a very good game. Nice to see Thomas Tuchel in the Premier League, and it was just not very fun for me, if I'm being honest. And then Chelsea at home to Burnley wasn't the most exciting game on my Sunday afternoon.
It wasn't, was it? But I mean,
no.
they drew Wolves 0-0 in perhaps the world's most boring game.
It was so bad.
Yeah, then they did beat Burnley 2-0. But it seems the task is pretty clear, because I find it interesting that obviously reporters are asking him about Werner and Havertz, but I think it's pretty clear that is Tuchel's perhaps third task. Obviously top 4 win a trophy, and then number 3 has to be get the best out of Werner and Havertz.
Yeah, and surely his experience at Dortmund in the Bundesliga, I'm sure he's seen Werner in particular. I'm sure he knows a lot more how to get the better out of Werner than, no disrespect, than Frank Lampard ever would. If I don't like, sounds like I'm just slating him, but that was me trying to give Tuchel credit.
Yeah, I mean, he has brought in a German speaker, and I don't think that's. And there was a load of people that were kind of prophesizing that is where Chelsea were going to go, that they were going to look for a German manager. Next, because those have been the big investments that they've made, and I don't know how deep Abramovich's pockets are going to go this summer, but you've got to imagine that there's not going to be another 250 million quid on the table.
Yeah. One thing I remember you said, I think it might have been last week, and I remember reading, was that it's only is it an 18-month contract? It's not even long term, so it'll be interesting.
Contract with the option of an extra year. So at the most, This is not a long-term appointment to begin with. This is, we'll see how you get on, pal.
Yeah, so it's interesting. It's interesting to see how much he will be backed by Abramovich and the board. Yeah. But I can't imagine if they gave Frank Lampard all that money, I don't know why you wouldn't do the same.
Yeah, it's actually interesting because I've got you on a similar contract. It's an 18 podcast contract. The option for an extra 9.
And you are ripping that contract up as we speak.
No, live on air. We are taking up that option. So there will be at least an extra 9.
Oh yes. I'm
briefly on Jose and Spurs. I know we've been a little bit football heavy this week.
Yeah, where's the nonsense?
Oh, I've got something coming up for you.
Oh, brilliant. Me too.
It's not looking very rosy for Spurs at the minute. They're obviously without Kane. Bale has not worked. 3-1 loss to Liverpool. very familiar to you, and I hope you're sitting down because I'm about to say 1-0 loss to Brighton.
Oh, that rings true to my heart.
Yeah. Their tactic of going one up and then sitting deep doesn't work when they concede first, but
he has to stop doing it, Nathan. I've been saying it for years.
yeah, and they might win tonight. They kick off in 35 minutes, but they are, and I'm not just saying that because he's in the team. They are dire.
Good lord. I'm looking forward to seeing how they get on without Kane, because obviously at the start of the season, it was all Son and Kane, wasn't it? It wasn't really Mourinho who was getting much applause, I don't think. And the thing that I'm fuming about most, Nathan, I don't know about you, I had just transferred Harry Kane into my fantasy football team.
I had given up on fantasy football when all the rescheduling happened. I kind of just forgot to do it, because what would happen is that for about 2 weeks it would be like, oh, game week 13, Monday and Tuesday, game week 14, Wednesday and Thursday.
It's very tough to keep on top of this season. If you're still doing it, fair play, because I don't know how.
I've just done my wild card after not changing my team for about a month. You know what? I'm back in. I'm feeling confident.
I'm very old school when it comes to football manager, fantasy Premier League. And I don't like using the what are they called? The boosts. Is that what you call them? You get 3.
Like the bench boost and stuff.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of them at all. It's ruining the modern game.
It's the VAR of fantasy Premier. Yeah, I remember when they first brought in like a bench boost and that, or now they got free hit, and that's a big waste of time.
I'm not a fan of it at all.
Not a fan. It's for casuals.
Yeah.
Just deal with the injuries, you know.
Which is tough enough. Do you know I've got my sub-keeper is, do you remember Nyland, who was at Aston Villa at the start of the season?
I have the exact same sub-keeper.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
It's been out forever.
Yeah, it's perfect, yeah.
But I had Lloris, and I was like, oh, that's great.
Sorry, do we have the exact same team?
I don't know, I'm going to go on mine now. Let's read out our fantasy teams in a new segment called Don't Copy This.
Do you know, while you're getting yours up, Nathan, I'll quickly give everyone the sock busters before we give them away in about, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. So this week, I ran out of big teams, I'm afraid. So this week, I'm afraid you're stuck with the Arsenal edition.
Oh, bollocks. Is it Shamak?
And he's got all 3 correct. I thought I'd tease you with 2 easy ones, and then I've got 1 hard one to wrap up with. Some will say it doesn't work. To those people I say, fair enough. You're probably correct. The first one, this making a second appearance in Sockbusters, Beale from EastEnders is correct. IW being the initials. IW. Beale from EastEnders is correct. Very easy.
IW?
IW, yeah.
Is he in the squad? Is he in the team?
Ooh, Nathan's struggling with it. Okay, the next one we'll move on to. This one, the initials alone should give it away. The igneous rock has been quaking. Initials GX. That should be very straightforward.
Yeah, that one's pretty. That was this
kind of sums up his career as well.
Yeah.
And I cannot speak today. I'm so sorry. The final one is I like to taste music. Initials AS. That could be a tough one.
Taste music.
I like to taste music. So, the first one, Beale from EastEnders is correct. IW. Third one, well, it's Granite Jacket. The igneous rock has been quaking. GX. And the final one, I like to taste music. AS. Nathan, have you got the Fantasy Premier League out? I want to hear all about it.
Okay, so this is my team. This is pre-wild card. So I'll give people my team for this game week, and then I'll read out the changes that I made and kind of go through the thinking behind them. So at the minute, playing tonight, I do have Hugo Lloris in goal. Tarkowski, popular Fantasy Premier League player, always plays. Patrick Van Arnholt, another popular Fantasy Premier League player.
Good goal.
Thiago Silva plays tonight, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Jack Grealish, Raheem Sterling, Song, and Ward-Prowse. How Song is still down as a midfielder, beyond me. Also, Marcus Rashford is down as a midfielder, so we'll allow it.
So is Mohamed Salah, so you know, it's a bit daft.
Yeah. And big front three of Christian Benteke.
Oh, God.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah.
And Richarlison. Got the captaincy the wrong way round. I knew they were playing Leeds. I captained Richarlison. Big mistake.
Very interesting.
7 points on the bench just wasted in Neves. And yeah, Nyland is backup goalkeeper. Veltman at Brighton is just a defender, and Brian at Fulham. Just a bloke called Brian.
Just a bloke called Brian, is he?
Yeah.
You know him personally?
I know he scored one great goal in the playoffs last year. So I just put him on because he was cheap. Joe Bryan.
Joe Bryan, yeah. The Fulham guy.
Yeah, the Fulham
Newcastle.
Guy. What?
Did you say he was at Newcastle?
No, Fulham.
Oh. Okay, well, I was apparently not paying attention there at all.
You're thinking of Paul Dummett.
I was thinking Brian at Newcastle. I have no idea what you're talking about. My team is, well, a few of the names you listed off there. So in common we have Lloris, Ward-Prowse, Grealish, Son, and I have Calvert-Lewin up front as well. My back line consists of Aaron Cresswell, Harry Maguire, and John Stones, which I think is a solid defence.
Thanks.
So in midfield, Ward-Prowse. This week I had captain to Mo Salah. That didn't go too well. Grealish, Son, and Ilkay Gundogan, who has hit some form. And up front, I completely forgot to change this before the game week started. I had Harry Kane up front, alongside Dominic Calvert-Lewin. 9 points, decent. Nice. And on the bench, I've got Jamal Lewis, Matt Targett, and Rory Delap's son, which I think is how he will always be known.
Did you see Ian Wright's grandson has signed for Stoke?
I didn't even know he had a grandson. I didn't realise he was that old.
Well, he's got a son called Sean Wright-Phillips.
Oh, yeah.
And Bradley Wright-Phillips.
Jeez, yeah.
Sean Wright-Phillips, I think, is retired now. And but yeah, it's Sean Wright-Phillips' kid.
I completely forgot that.
You forgot Sean Wright-Phillips existed.
Are they adopted?
Who?
Kids. Bradley and Sean, for some reason.
I mean, I don't want to get into the gossip columns, but I'm sure a quick Google will tell us.
If I'm wrong, I apologise to Sean and Bradley. But for some reason,
I think Sean. Oh yeah, adopted by Ian.
Yeah,
So Sean Wright-Phillips was adopted, and Bradley Wright-Phillips though is biological.
Right. Okay. I was halfway there.
He also has a daughter called Coco.
No idea. No, I'd never heard that in my life.
You've never seen the Disney film Coco?
I can't say I've even heard of it, let alone seen it. Any good?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a good movie. So, Fantasy Premier League, I've made a lot of changes because I wildcarded. I hadn't been playing properly for a while, so David De Gea's now in goal, back in the big guy, back in Big Dave.
Right.
James Justin,
That's fair.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and Thiago Silva, back three. Thiago Silva's quite cheap for who he is, so.
Yeah, I think that's a decent backline.
Yeah, now you'll notice, in reality, there's no defence in this midfield. So this would not work in reality. It's Jack Grealish, Raheem Sterling, Song, and Nicolas Pepe.
Right.
And then, so I've really gone for a Leeds approach. And then Callum Wilson, he started getting some goals. He's quite cheap. Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Patrick Bamford.
Yeah.
Up top.
That is, yeah. I made transfers this week and I brought in, who did I bring in? Patrick Bamford was definitely one of them. And Ings. Brought in Ings and Bamford, and I got rid of Kane and Verdi, I think. Verdi's out with the hernia, isn't he, for a couple of weeks?
Yeah. Well, I think it's time to play Can You Guess Who's Missing from the Liverpool lineup?
It just rolls off the tongue more and more every week.
If you've got a better name for this segment than this, please tweet at Project Dits and let us know. But yeah, a couple more bits to go, and then we're going to ride off into the sunset and we'll go enjoy Spurs v Chelsea. So this lineup is from the Barclays Premier League, Monday, the 11th of April, 2011.
Okay.
Liverpool would face Manchester City
Yes.
and ride out 3-0 winners. All the goals coming in the first half as well.
Yeah.
So the lineup is as followed, as usual, with some people missing. Pepe Reina was in goal. Aurelio, Carragher, Skirtle and Blank were the back four. Morelos, Lucas and Blank were in midfield. Suarez, Blank and Dirk Kuyt were the front three.
Okay. Andy Carroll is the striker.
Yep.
At the right back, I'm torn because for some reason I think John Flanagan started that game. I think it was one of his first starts. I'm going to go with Flanagan.
You bang on the money.
Yeah.
As usual, you got two electrically quick.
And I'm so scared. Can you read out the midfield again for me, please?
Morelos, Lucas and Blank.
See, I don't think it's Gerrard. I think that's way too obvious. So, the first one that came to mind was Christian Poulsen, but I'm thinking, was he still playing under Kenny Dalglish? Who else were midfielders back then? Oh, wait, actually, there's two I've just thought of that sum up the Kenny Dalglish era for me, and it's Jay Spearing and John Joe Shelvey. But Jay Spearing was an answer to one of the last ones. I think it was the FA Cup semi-final against Everton. I think it was. I'm going to go John Joe Shelvey.
Oh, as usual, he's gone the wrong way. Oh, it's the wrong side of the bar. It was Jay Spearing.
Oh, my God.
Again.
I've been absolutely shafted by Jay
He's
Spearing.
been bamboozled.
Oh, cheers, Jay. Balson's birth, Jay Spearing.
So yeah, you would Andy Carroll on the 13th, Dirk Kuyt in the 34th, and Andy Carroll again in the 35th.
Yeah.
In the 35th minute, the Manchester City lineup, and they're in a weird order on the BBC website, so I would try and work out who was there. But Joe Hart was in goal. I'm guessing it was Lescott and company, the two with Kolarov and Boyata. Fullbacks. Milner, Johnson, who will blank over, Barry and Yaya Toure looked like they were in the midfield with Dzeko and Tevez up top.
Not a bad front two.
Yeah,
Dzeko
Tevez had to come off on this come off in the 16th, so Balotelli came on, and then Balotelli had to go off in the 83rd, so De Jong came on. David Silva came on in the 59th for Liverpool hero James Milner, who was number 7 at Man City as well.
Was he?
Yeah,
Why does that seem wrong to me? Yeah.
Yeah, why David Silva wasn't number 7?
Yeah. Jeez, that's again, I've been bamboozled twice.
Toure, 42 still.
Yeah, that's the one I always remember, which I kind of like. I kind of like sort of random numbers. Like, I don't like defenders being number 9, but I kind of like how Balotelli's 45. Yari Litmanen, I remember, was 37. So was Martin Skirtle. And Trent at 66, I think, is a weird one. I think that's too high a number. I know I'm being very fussy here.
Yeah, Sean Wright-Phillips was actually on the bench for Man City.
Was he still there?
I'm presuming it was Sean. There's a Wright-Phillips on the bench, though.
Yeah. He went to
you're pressing it. There's links on the BBC website for everyone. But if you click on them, it just takes you back to the homepage.
Oh, that's a bit
Isn't
sad.
it? Boring game. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. There's a lot of shots going in, but it just looked like you kind of ran them over in the first half, and then they never made it back.
Blitzed them early on. If you look up Andy Carroll's 2 goals, they're actually incredible as well. It was definitely the peak of his Liverpool career. It never got any better after that.
Well, let's have a look. So this would have been game week 32. Man United were top on 69 points. Nice.
I had to sneak it in somewhere.
Yeah. Arsenal was second.
Really?
Yeah. On 62. Chelsea were in third on 58. Man City in fourth on 56. Spurs in fifth. Liverpool in sixth. The bottom three, West Ham, Wolves and Wigan. All touching distance though. There was only 2 points between 20th and 17th.
I'm trying to think who went down that season. West Ham, 2010-11.
Went down, didn't they?
Oh, Blackpool, yeah,
That's
that's
when
the
he
Blackpool
signed.
season.
Charlie Adam would have been at Blackpool, wouldn't he?
Yep.
Did Birmingham go down as well? Oh, what's the someone let us know. They did.
Yes, they won the Carling Cup.
And went down.
And then Alex McLeish went to Villa. Yeah, that is what happened.
Interesting one, 8th at this time and completely safe, Bolton.
Oh, I remember Bolton, yeah. They got relegated the following season. I kind of miss Bolton. There used to be a lot more northern teams, didn't there? Bolton, Blackburn. They were the only two that came to my mind, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, they did. And then there's just a lot of owners that just rip clubs apart and just sent them really
Wigan.
packing down. Yeah, Wigan is another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bolton are now, I think they're in League. Do they even exist now?
I think they're League Two. I think they just
League
survived
Two as well,
from the
yeah.
last season. And it's not even called the Reebok anymore. It's called the University of Bolton Stadium, which I'm not a fan of.
It'll always be the Reebok.
It will, won't it?
Oh, it's like when Upton Park pretended to bowl in.
Yeah, I need to look into that. What was there a reason why it was the bowling ground? And
Honestly, I couldn't tell you.
I don't know the difference.
Yeah, so but if you're a West Ham fan, obviously let us know. But Darragh, what else have we got for us before we ride off into the sunset?
Well, before I give you the answers to Sockbusters, I've given you loads of time to think about that. One thing I saw during the week that was pretty interesting to me was at the start of the season, The Athletic, great publication, did a Premier League hope-o-meter so subscribers from all 20 Premier League teams voted how optimistic they were going into the season. Nathan, who do you think was first? And it was a 98.9% sort of
optimistic
hopeful.
going into the season.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to be Liverpool, surely.
No, Liverpool were about 7th or 8th with 84%. Yeah.
What load of fans are that? Oh, I don't know.
Southampton.
They're cheery down there on the south coast, those lot.
They're loving life.
That's sea air.
Is that in euphemism? Bottom of the table. And I remember this was part of my Premier League predictions, and I was slated by the network for putting them bottom of the table coming in to the Premier League season. Nathan, bottom of the table with 8.8%.
I don't remember who you put bottom. Did you put West Ham bottom?
Yeah. So I put West Ham bottom. 8.8% optimism for the season. They must be absolutely buzzing.
Tell you, there's no sea air. That's why.
There you go. And also, well, I'll leave you with that. I thought those are the two.
Where did Man United rank?
United came 12th with 71.5%. So
I
it's
think
still
that makes sense.
pretty optimistic, but it's not. I'm very excited.
Given that every time we don't score 9, Ollie out is trending on Twitter.
Wasn't Klopp out trending, I think, at some point, wasn't it?
It's a little bit misleading because sometimes people with these Twitter things that I'm guilty of using them in podcasts as reference points, but like actual serious publications are guilty of doing it as well. Is what happened is someone will say, see a Liverpool fan who's probably not a Liverpool fan, being like, hashtag Klopp out, he's ruined the club. But then that person will then tweet and be like, can't believe hashtag Klopp out is trending. So then it adds to the trending. So a lot of it is actually people going, why is hashtag Klopp out trending? And it's like, it wouldn't if you people would stop fucking typing it. So it's like five quote unquote fans and then 10,000 people asking why they've seen it.
Very interesting. It's a pretty good point. I never would have thought
really, unless like United or Liverpool or whoever have lost like 8 games in a row, I wouldn't take those every time Ollie out starts trending that seriously.
Yeah, it's a good point. And So West Ham were bottom with 8.8% optimism. The next lowest was West Brom with 37.9. So there's quite a jump there. So I think even West Ham fans were expecting very little coming into the season. Even at the time, David Moyes coming back didn't seem very optimistic in general, did it?
They are flying. This is the second time we've spoken about them on this podcast, but they're playing some great football, and Jesse Lingard was unbelievable in that game. It was a great 24 hours for United, winning 9-0. Tahith Chong, who is an academy graduate, plays on the wing. He was at Werder Bremen in the Bundesliga, but then he went on loan to Club Brugge, and he scored on his debut as well, wearing the number 7 shirt over there. And then Jesse Lingard gets 2 as well. So then you lost to Brighton.
It's been a great. I've loved every.
We've been living it large. We got Everton this weekend, so let us be happy for a bit because they're playing really well.
Come on, you Blues.
How does that feel to say? That's a weird one. This weekend you play City and we play Everton. It's almost like.
I feel like that's happened before. I feel like I've seen that promoted before. It was like, was it Red versus? There was a certain name they gave it. It's definitely happened before, 1,000,000%, like relatively recent as well.
Is the name of it? The schedule's obviously not random.
Do you remember? I remember David Moyes came out complaining about fixtures once, and he was saying, the balls haven't been kind to us this year, and I'm like, he does realise that it's computer generated. I don't know why he thinks someone does all 380 fixtures.
Oh my god, that would be amazing. He just said Peter Crouch and Owen Hargreaves for some reason. I don't know where Owen Hargreaves is going on. Nope. Just picking out 400 balls to decide each match week.
Can we not use computers? No, Peter, you obviously don't know how.
God, do you reckon that's what they had to used to do though? They must have had to do that back in the day.
I have no idea. Actually, it's a good question.
Oh, that's some homework for the week, guys. How did they used to decide the fixtures?
I'll have to look into that. Yeah. Well, I'll give you your Sockbusters answers, Nathan. You cracked one very easily. The igneous rock has been quaking. GX Granite Xhaka.
Okay.
Got that. Meal from EastEnders is correct. IW. Have you got it?
I don't know what William's first name is.
Can I give you a clue, Nathan? You mentioned him about 10 minutes ago.
IW, did I?
Sean Wright.
Oh, is it Ian? Oh, God.
Ian Wright.
I keep thinking in the squad now. God damn it.
Yeah, well, if you didn't get Ian Wright, I don't think you'll get this last one. I like to taste music, AS. Do you have any idea?
Is it Alan Smith?
I thought you had it there for a second. It's not.
Okay.
Alan Smith. Maybe I can make that work next week. It's Alex Song.
Oh, God.
As in I lick song. Alex Song.
Oh, now I've just got that video of them taking the trophy off of him at Barcelona now. Have you seen that before?
Is that the one where, I hope I'm right saying this, where Puyol goes over to Abidal? Is that the one? Yeah, okay.
Poor Alex Song.
Obviously,
he never should have left Arsenal.
Yeah, I do remember that actually. Oh, it's proper cringe, isn't it? You feel bad for Alex. Do you know he has I think I've got I hope I have the right number here. 27 siblings, Alex Song.
What? I'm going to have to Google this. I can't leave that. That's not one for you guys to Google.
Go on.
Oh,
Pull me
Alex Song. How many siblings does Alex Song have?
I feel like
17 sisters and 10 brothers.
He's got it bang on. Get in. 27.
His parents had it bang on as well, apparently.
Well, I will give you this week's trivia question on the back of that.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this one. You hyped this one up.
I've hyped this one up, and if you get it straight away, I'm going to be so devastated because I've basically said it's very tricky unless you actually know the answer. It's one of those ones. So, Nathan and listeners, Ollie Lee of Luton Town and Xabi Alonso of Liverpool are the only two players to have done what in English football?
What a question that is.
Bit of a clue I'll give you. The fact that Ollie Lee played for Luton Town is a bit of a hint. I'll leave it at that for now.
You know what? You should. I know the answer now because you just said that last bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you being serious?
Yeah. I'm not going to say it because the listeners, no Googling. Go out there. Well, how the fuck are we going to know? Spirit of competition, spirit of fair play.
I'm very worried now. I've said more than I needed to.
Oh.
Careless talk costs lives.
It does. And we're done costing lives with our careless talk. Thank you very much for listening, Beautiful. Guys. We'll be back next week as always after Liverpool beat Man City and we spank Everton. We'll go for 10. That was my favourite thing from the Southampton match. Was after we scored 9, Scott McTominay was angrily shouting at the guys to get the ball because he wanted to score 10th.
I kind of like that, you know.
Yeah.
When you're watching like big wins, I'm never happy with 6. It needs to be an 8 at least.
Yeah, you want to get it typed out in letters. That's the minimum. Is 7 the first one they do?
I have no idea. I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, you know when they do the score and it will say like 7-0 and then in brackets they'll write the word 7.
I've never seen that, no.
Oh, it is a thing.
I'll have to look out for it.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, as always, you can find Project Dits and all the affiliated podcasts at Project DITS. You can find me at Nathan Greenaway. My new podcast, That Ain't Sport, which is a scripted comedy podcast about a fake American style sports news show. First episode drops this coming weekend. It's actually dropping on Sunday. You can find it on Twitter at That Ain't Sport and wherever the feeds are already up, wherever you get your podcasts. So go hit subscribe and check it out and let me know what you think. It is just a pilot, so it's quite a short episode just to see how the concept works, but hopefully it will take off from there. But Darragh, where can people find you?
Twitter at Gibbons_Darragh, Gibbons_DARRAGH.
Again, guys, thank you very much for listening. Enjoy the football, enjoy your weekend, and we'll speak to you again soon. Bye now.
Good luck.